I want to show you how to use your financial calculator to estimate beta in a simple OLS regression. So with the BA2 Plus, what you can do is second data, and then you need to input all the data. I have an example here. As you see, 10 years of stock return data. And this column is about the market return, which is from the S&P 500 index. So we use S&P 500 index return as a proxy for the market return. And then we have two separate companies, and their returns are listed. So I would say we have three columns in market data and individual companies data. So if we want to find the beta for Blendy, this one company, what we can do is, for the X variable, we input market data one by one. So the first return is 30%. I would just go with 30, enter. And Y return, Y01, so the Y variable, the dependent variable will be the company, individual company's return. So I have 26 for the first year. And then I'll just go ahead with all the returns, X02, Y02, year by year. And 18, 14 negative, 22 negative, and 15 negative, enter as Y04, and we just have to do it one by one. So with the financial calculator, it's not really very realistic to perform a regression with many data observations. But for your exam, if you are provided with, say, 5-year or 10 years return, you can actually use this to do a simple regression and get the beta coefficient. Active, enter, and next one, 42, Y, negative 10, X08, we're almost there, 3 negative. And also, don't forget, every time you want to press the enter button, make sure you see the equal sign, and that's when you know the data is stored in your calculator. Okay, so we input all the 10 years data. You can also use the down arrow or up arrow button to check whether your data is inputted correctly. And then once you verify the data, what you want to do is you go seconds, stats. So the first thing you see is LIN, that stands for linear, because we are going to perform a linear regression. Maybe you guys remember the OLS you got from your stats class. Okay, so now this is to tell you we have 10 pairs of observations. Remember, 10 years of data. And this is the average, or say the expected value of all the X variables, remember, for the market return. And this is the standard deviation, which is 20% of the market return. So these are the basic stats for X and Y variables. And so average return for the market and standard deviation for the market. Okay, and keep going down. We can ignore the sigma and Y, X, average return for the Y variable, which is the return for Blendy, 6.4%, standard deviation 25.19%. The sigma here, actually, this is the standard deviation not for the sample but for the population. So we're not interested in this number in this case. Okay, so little a or alpha here, this is actually the intercept of your regression, and b, little b, or beta, is the beta coefficient we are looking for. So essentially, this is the coefficient for the regression. Well, the independent variable is the market return, remember the x variable, and the dependent variable is the individual stock's return, and we can also call it the y variable. Okay, so beta for this company 0.6. You can also try go back and change all the y variable inputs. Actually, if you go to second data, keep the market variable, market return as the x variable, but change all the y's to the other company's return. So Y01, Y02, Y03 till Y10, you change all the y values, and you should also calculate the beta coefficient for the second company, which should be 1.3.